On top of now I've got these weird lumpy bumpy armholes that I don't think I'm gonna like. So hello knitting friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Kristen, and today we are talking about Me Made May. Before we get started, what I'm wearing today is my Amankai tee. This is a pattern by me. It is knit in Camellia Fiber Company flax fingering, and it is just kind of a plain t-shirt with some nice finishing details, teeny little sleeves, lateral or horizontal braid bind offs, nice, airy, and drapey for spring. It is a lovely springy day here. All right, Me Made May. If you are not familiar, this is a challenge and a movement that began in the sewing community using the month of May as an opportunity to actually use and to document using handmaids. All of the things that, again, in the sewing community, people were sewing and then maybe not actually using. And over the last, I'm not sure when it started, back when we were reading blogs, so it's been a while, I think. And then it was also adopted by the knitting community for basically the same reason. We knit things, we sew things, and then maybe we don't actually wear them as much as we could be. The original Me May Made challenge was to wear and document wearing something me made every day in May. Now, I love the concept of Me Made May, but I am also an advocate of adapting things to our own unique circumstances and realities. So I thought today I would talk a little bit about my plans and goals for Me Made May. In my particular case, I knit and I sew. So I do have a fair number of handmade things that I could be wearing throughout the month. However, I certainly have more knit items than sewn. And for knitters in the Northern Hemisphere, by this time of the year, it is usually getting too warm to wear a lot of the things we have made. And where I am is no exception. I also spend a lot of time at home. I work from home and I take care of my kids, before and after school. And so I spend a lot of time in t-shirts and jeans just because that is more practical for my circumstances. It would be a bit odd to throw on a handmade dress and wear it around the house by myself all day. It would be a little more normal, perhaps, to wear a handmade sweater, but again, probably not going to be the weather for that. Also, in terms of documenting something, wearing something handmade every day, I am not, for better or worse, really secure enough to take and share photos of myself unless I am made up, and I'm not going to put makeup on every single day in May. I'm already mad because I have to put makeup on up today, obviously, and then the next 2 days because of Maryland sheep and wool. So I'm recording this on April 30th. So I like the spirit of Me Made May, but the letter of the law, I'm going to play a little fast and loose with that throughout the month of May. So I've written down some goals and some plans for the month that I thought it would be fun to share. So again, I'm definitely going to be making an effort to wear more of my handmade, so my sewn and my knit things. I am not going to try to force myself to do it every single day. What I would like to challenge myself to do, however, is at least twice a week to put together a handmade outfit. So ideally something that combines both knitting and sewing. There will probably be less of the knitting as the month goes on and gets warmer. Twice a week, and then to share that, probably on Instagram. Come here. No? Okay. She's not interested in Me Made May, I guess. So at least 2 self-made outfits each, there we go, each week And I think this will encourage me to experiment a little bit more with styling things. Again, I tend to, it's not that, to wear a lot of jeans, and I haven't made my own jeans yet, one of these days. And I tend to sew a lot of dresses, but not wear them. So I need to experiment more, and hopefully this will encourage me to do that. So that's one goal. Second goal is to go ahead and clean and store my sweaters for the off season. So I can get pretty lazy about this because I do have a cedar chest, which keeps the beasties away from my hand knits, and because while we do have very hot, humid summers, the rest of our year is very unpredictable. So I may still be wearing sweaters in May, and I may pull out a sweater as early as September, but I just don't know. So I tend to get a little bit lazy about the sweater care, but I do want to do a good job of that. What I really need to do is get my hands on a strucket. I think that will make my life a lot easier. If you've not seen these, they're a big plastic bucket with sort of like a built-in strainer that you can hand wash your sweaters, and then they have like a little drainy thing so you can drain it right into the sink. I should really do that. To that end, I would also like to do a little bit of reevaluating some of my sewn garments. So I have been sewing since some point during the pandemic. I started learning to make masks, so probably around 2021, so about 5 years. And definitely some of the earlier stuff I made, I didn't do a good job. I didn't use the right fabric for whatever it was, and or it no longer fits. So I would like to do a little bit of an inventory of what I've got, see what I'm actually using, see what I'm not using, see what maybe could be harvested for fabric for something else, and what maybe just needs to be donated to somebody who fits into it. And maybe some stuff just is not really going to be good for anything. I would like to do a little bit of an inventory of my sewn garments. Now, obviously, I spend a lot of time knitting and to a lesser extent sewing, but I do want to make some specific plans for projects to focus on in May, especially getting ready for warmer weather. So I'm going to start with the sewing plans because the knitting plans have come with a caveat. So for the sewing plans, I would like to sew one dress and one pair of comfy pants. So I have the dress picked out, and I've actually already cut out the pattern pieces, and that is the Penny dress by, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Lore Pierre. I'm not 100% sure. This is an independent sewing pattern designer. This pattern, it has a lot going on. It has 4 different views divided among 2 garments. So there's a blouse and there's a dress, and there's 4 different views for each. So it's a bit much. And I am just planning to make the view B of the dress, which is a relatively simple wrap dress. This is going to be really comfortable, casual, easy to wear for summer, and I have some really cute fabric. So this is the fabric I have for this dress. It is a little bit 60s, which I love. So this is, I got this last season from Core Fabrics. This is a ditzy floral print cotton poplin. They probably don't carry this anymore. Maybe they do, but I don't know. And it is a cotton poplin, so it is nice and light and airy. The biggest thing, my problem I have with the sewing, it's not that I don't like wearing the things that I've sewn. It's that I really try to use natural fabrics, so cottons and linens, and everything gets so wrinkly, and everything has to be ironed like every time I want to wear it. And this will be no exception, but it is really cute. So that is plan number 1. My second set of sewing plans is a little more undefined. I want to make a pair of comfortable pants. So something very lightweight, something with at least the back waist elasticize, if not the whole thing. And I'm not 100% sure about the pattern. However, I'm leaning toward the Danny pant. This is a pattern by True Bias, and it has one of the views has like sort of a button detail at the front that makes it just a little bit less, kids elastic waistband pants looking. That is kind of where I am leaning. Another option would be the Winslow culottes. This is a pattern that I already have and have made, but it has since been updated to include a really cute wrap detail, so that you get this sort of like wraps around the back and to the front, and just makes them like really cute and airy and I don't know, beach resorty. However, I don't really have any beach resorty fabric for either of these projects. The only fabric I do have is this. I don't remember what this is. So this is nice and drapey. However, it also is full of holes, which is not ideal for pants, and I don't really remember why I bought this. Now, the holes are tiny, and from a distance you're not seeing through. Like, I can see through them this way, but I don't think you can see my face. So this might work for either one, I think. Otherwise, I may buy some fabric. I showed you guys on the last podcast, I had recently bought some fabric, but I really want to save those for dresses. So you will notice that the dress pattern that I talked about in the last podcast that I really wanted to work on is not something I'm planning to do this month. And that is honestly just because it is a much more involved pattern that I know is going to take a lot more concentration and effort and focus. And if I want to do 2 sewing projects this month, I think they both have to be more on the simple side. So I am still planning to sew Pollyanna. I am still planning to sew that beautiful white dress, but I think it's going to wait until next month. So those are the 2 sort of not super precise, but at least in one case, but those are the 2 sewing projects that I have planned for Me Made May. Now, let's talk about knitting. So the first thing I want to do is, I really have not been super into the pointelle trend that has been popular over the last, I don't know, 6 months, a year. But Jessie May just released this pattern and I absolutely love it. So that is the Petite Pointelle top. Absolutely love this. Gotta have it. So my number one thing for the month of May is to at least cast this on. I don't have yarn for it. However, as I said, that's my foot. Please leave it alone. Today is April 30th. Tomorrow is Friday, May 1st, which I wish you could see what the cat is doing here. Tomorrow is Friday, May 1st, which is the kickoff for Maryland Sheep and Wool Weekend. And the Wandering Flock is supposed to be a visiting vendor at Magpie Fibers this weekend. The Wandering Flock sells cotton lino, which is the yarn used in Jessie May's pattern, and everyone has been raving about it, and I am dying to try it. So I am hoping that if I get to Magpie Fibers tomorrow, or if you're watching this when it comes out, yesterday, and I am hoping that I'll be able to snag some of that cotton lino there for this project. I really want to try it. This is a lovely blend. I think it's like cotton, silk, linen, and alpaca or something. It's mostly non-animal fibers. I mean, I guess silk is technically you know what I mean. With just that little bit of alpaca that's going to add some softness, some fuzz. Dying to try it, at least to see it. I gotta get my hands on it physically so I can decide. And that is a sport weight yarn. If that doesn't work out, I will definitely try to pick up something else throughout the weekend in the appropriate weight for this project. But this is my May highlight, star of the show, knitting project. Absolutely love this. Don't know why. None of the other pointelle stuff is really speaking to me, but this one is just so cute. I absolutely love it. So that's my new cast on plan for May. I would also like to focus on finishing some summer projects that either I started last year and then put away for warm weather or have more recently started. My original goal was going to be to finish my Margot and Lavender tops. Here's my Margot. So we're doing pretty well. I am knitting this in Knit Picks Dilly Dally, which is a cotton bamboo hemp blend. And while it doesn't look super long, it is pretty stretchy. So I am almost done the body. So I need to do one more repeat of the rib, one more repeat, obviously, of the division section here, and then one more repeat of the lace. And then I will divide for the front and the back. This is sleeveless. So once I have divided for the front and back, I guess I'll probably slow down a little. Well, maybe not, because I'll be working flat, which means more purling, but it also means that this division, the division between each section is garter stitch, so those rows will actually go faster. And then there's no sleeves, and the armhole shaping is pretty simple. It's just a pretty straight piece. So I think this is definitely doable. I know it's very dark, but I absolutely love this color. Get a little closer here and see more of the patterning. So this, fortunately, is also very easy to memorize. I can take this out and about and on the go, and I have been putting quite a bit of work on it because I don't have to carry like charts or anything, pattern, nothing really around with me. And again, there's no shaping. The body is straight. The front and back upper body are also, as far as I can tell, relatively straight. So I think that's a good candidate to finish this month. Lavender tank top. We have come to a turning point in this project. So if you watched the last podcast, you'll know that I already started and had to restart this project once. But we have hit another snag. And this one may be project ending. So here is, and it looks lovely from a distance. Here's where we are. I am on the last color section, although this is a long color section. This is a 12-row section. The other stripes are 4 rows, except here where I messed up and did one is only 2 rows. And then made up for it here where I did this one 6 rows. But this one now, this last one is that I'm working on is supposed to be 12 rows. And I have recently reached the point where I have added enough stitches to add another repeat. And so that is what I did here. So right in here is where I added another repeat of the chevron pattern. And this, see, is poking out. And I thought, well, that doesn't look great. And if I try to stretch it, like, to simulate kind of blocking, it still doesn't look great. And so I decided, and it's on both sides, because you've got this, you're working flat basically, and then all of a sudden you've got these double decreases to create this chevron shape, and that's automatically going to distort the fabric. And I am not at all convinced that that's going to block out. So I went on to the Ravelry pattern page and I started looking at some of the other projects. There are over 100 of these on there. And most of them look okay from a faraway shot. But when you come in close, they look like this, and this, and these. And you can see many more. I am not going to share photos of people, that I don't know wearing the project. But on posed photos with the garment on as well, the majority of the armholes shaping areas look bad. They look lumpy, they look distorted. You can see in some of the posed photos that people have like weird like fabric like bunching out like kind of like that at the underarms. Not like the natural way it would like this. Like it's kind of like here, just kind of sticking out. And I don't like it. I don't think it looks good. Again, from a distance, which is how I, originally was looking at these photos. Obviously, I wasn't like zooming in on all the details. From a distance, it probably looks okay, but am I going to finish it and then never wear it because I notice it and I don't like, a little weird lumpy thing happening here or on the back of my otherwise nice finished chevron garment. So I am pretty sure I am not going to finish this, which is very unfortunate because I specifically went and bought the yarn for this. But I just don't think I'm going to like it. Now, someone said, what if you wait to start that chevron till a little bit later? Which I could do, but then you have, and this is the back, so not the fronts, but it'll be the same. Then you've got, I've already got chevrons all happening here, and then over here just straight stripes, and I already think it doesn't look great. And then if I delay it even more, then I've even got more straight stripes as opposed to chevron, which is not, if you just have a little bit of straight stripes coming into the armhole, that looks a little better. But that's, once you, if I didn't have this patterning happening here with this double decrease and this yarn over, then this would be straight all the way. So that's like, 4 inches of just straight stripes instead of chevron. And that's also, you know, going to, I don't know how much, but going to alter the fit of the garment because the chevrons are pulling the fabric inward. So no, I know it's yarn, but it's not a toy. So I don't know. I would love to hear your opinion on this. I'm not convinced that blocking is going to fix that. And looking at the other projects is making me think that I'm right. That it's not going to block out. And maybe it's not bothering those people, but it's bothering me right now. And I can definitely see myself, you can see it's gonna, this lump of fabric poking out right there. It's bothering me, and I think it would bother me in a finished garment. The other thing is the sample is a wool, which is more malleable. And my yarn is a wool cotton. So that's even more unpredictable in the blocking. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'm just not sure if that addition of that cotton, which is a less flexible fiber with less memory, is going to make it even worse. So I don't know. I would love to hear your opinions, and I have already asked on Instagram for everyone's opinions, but I'm disappointed. So I've already had trouble with this pattern. The gauge in it was given over a weird measurement, so I started working at the wrong gauge. I've had to restart. I know there is an error for the size I am knitting that a couple of comments, although some of them are in French, have pointed out on the comments of the Ravelry page, but the designer hasn't done anything about that. I'm using Hobby Yarn, and now we've got all this crap coming from Hobby about how they're embracing AI, and I am super against AI. So now I'm like, I don't want to use their yarn, but I've already bought it, so I'm not. That's sort of a minor consideration, but it's just something that is throwing the whole project into question on top of now I've got these weird lumpy bumpy armholes that I don't think I'm gonna like. So if I decide to 86 the lavender tank top, I've got a couple of other potentials. The first one is my Rota top, Rota. This is a pattern by Irene Lynn that I started last summer. I am knitting this in a recycled silk that I actually bought at Yarn Centric a couple of years ago. And by recycled, I mean this was a company that would thrift garments and unravel them for the yarn. So this is a recycled silk or silk linen. I don't remember. I think it's just silk. And I'm holding this double. I'm still not quite getting, I am getting the gauge, but this is much airier than the original pattern. But I'm really thinking of this as more of like a beach cover up, pool cover up kind of top. So this has unfortunately been very slow going because there is not, or there doesn't, I tried, does not seem to be an easy way to chart this stitch pattern. And instead I'm having to read these line by line instructions, and that is not my preferred way to work on projects, and it's very slow for me. So this is not going very quickly. So basically I've just done this since joining the body in the round. That's really all I have done over the last, I don't know, week or so. It's also not going quickly because this isn't great to work with. It's nice, the concept of recycling yarn I like. But again, I think this was a 100% silk. It's not super soft on the hands. So this is just not like a great knitting experience, which is another reason it's going slowly. But potentially this I could perhaps finish this month. And then the other possibility, and I will, once I decide what to do about the lavender, why is my hair so floofy? Once I decide what to do about the lavender tank top, I will pick one of these to focus on for the month other than the Margot. So my other option is my pie camisole, which it looks like I had like done the armhole pickup and then changed my mind and just ripped that out. That's what that looks like. I am knitting this in Amano Yarns Chasqui, which is a wool cotton blend, so it's not super ideal for summer, but this is also knit on a size 2. So this I'm thinking it's, if I have to choose, I'm probably going to go with the Rota top, but something I would like to try on this is adding bust darts. So I want to do a video soon on bust darts, but I guess I have reached a time in my life where bust darts are more necessary for me. I think, whether that is because I certainly have gained some weight over the last few years. I have birthed and fed 2 babies in my life, but in my younger days, I really didn't need bust darts. But I have reached the point now where I do think something in a garment like this that is supposed to be relatively closer fitting, I think they would be helpful. There are not bust darts in the pattern. And as I said, I haven't really needed them in the past, so I don't have a lot of experience with adding them. So I would like to perhaps experiment with putting bust darts in this, and that again is something that is going to take a little bit of extra time. So probably this is not going to be the one that I focus on this month. It's possible, but it's unlikely. So in terms of knitting goals for Me Made May, I have at least cast on the Petite Pointel top, and to finish 2 spring summer projects. 1, the Margot, number 2, unsure. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me for a little chat about Me Made May. Those are my goals and plans for the month. I would love to hear about yours. I would also really love your feedback on what I should do about the lavender tank top. I am really torn at this point, and I do need to make a decision. If you are celebrating Me Made May, I certainly hope you have a wonderful month. If you want to keep up with my progress on my goals, definitely follow me on Instagram, Media Peruana, where I'll be sharing lots of, hopefully, outfits and progress. Of course, I will also do a recap at the end of the month in the monthly podcast episode. Thank you so much again for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it or took anything from it, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New knitting videos here every Saturday. Thank you again, and I will see you soon in another video.